Josh, give us. Let's go into Infinite, like our time playing Infinite's multiplayer. Sure. Start off with the pros and cons. Give us your pros and cons of your experience playing Infinite multiplayer.
Absolutely. So I want to start with the cons because I love to get that out of the way and then focus on the positive stuff. The cons are the progression system is incredibly atrocious right now, and we're going to talk more into that. But that's made diminishing returns with some of the rewards. But gameplay wise, I've just seen some slow load times, but really I don't have many cons. It's a bare bones release, and there's 7 arena maps, which doesn't actually sound that bad. To me, that sounds good. But the problem is that the map rotation is god awful right now. I'm playing so many matches on live fire and recharge, it's insane. I'm forgetting. I think it's Behemoth. I actually just played this morning for the first time, and that kind of blew my mind because that was a map in the flight, and I was looking forward to playing that in the full game. Why did I have to wait several days to get to that? Now, granted, I haven't put in as much time as everyone else. I want to acknowledge that. But it was just, it's got to be changed. It's got to be changed. I need to be able to cycle through that a little bit better. And also, you're releasing Big Team Battle with 3 maps. Honest to God, it needed 2 more. You needed 5 for Big Team Battle because you don't have a lot of modes there. Playlist options, you're very limited, and it's either Big Team Battle or Ranked Arena. You don't have specific playlists. Now, this makes sense to me because you don't have too many offerings right now. You want to not divvy up player counts in the playlist and maybe have some that are getting played, some of them that you're having longer wait times in. But on the other hand, it's kind of frustrating thinking, oh, Jesus Christ, Strongholds on live fire again? I'm tired of this. And getting back, and it's another Stronghold on that, or it's Slayer on that. I do like right now, knowing it's a temporary thing, that it's nice to just be able to go in Ranked Arena and they just throw us in whatever mode. I love that because you know what, in Halo 5 in the last couple of years, I could barely ever get into an objective game type like Capture the Flag, and
I was going to touch on this.
Yeah, I'd love playing Capture the Flag with Brian. And I gotta tell you, it feels so gosh darn good to be able to play that as much as Slayer. I love Slayer, but if I'm being real with y'all, I love the intensity and fervor I feel when I play Capture the Flag. I think it is ultimately my favorite mode, but it's because I have people like Brian where I don't have to play the objective. I will still play it, and you see those complaints popping up everywhere, and I get it. But because I know how Brian is, and Brian just pushes for the flag, I can focus on the Slayer. Brian and I can yin and yang the shit out of that, and having other teammates around to back that up and round that out makes for a great squad dynamic, and I love being able to get to see that opportunity fully realized in Halo Infinite again after not being able to do it for a couple years in Halo 5. So, Brian, let's talk cons. Let's talk cons first, then we'll get into pros.
Okay, Lo, remind me to bring up the fact you just said about playing objective a lot.
Sure.
Because that's something I really want to touch on.
If you want to talk about that now, go for it.
Well, okay, yeah. So here's the thing. Let me get the cons briefly out of the way here because they're real small. Cons, Battle Pass sucks. Or not the Battle Pass. I guess I should say progression sucks. The Battle Pass itself doesn't.
Yeah, you're right.
Progression sucks. The progression sucks. But at the same time, when I say progression sucks, my complaint is with the health of the game and the ability for it to grow to a wide audience. Because me personally, I don't give a damn about progression. I don't need to level up. I don't need new cosmetics. I just play the game for fun. I played the original Halos for fun. I don't need progression at all. If this game was made for just Brian, I'd say leave the progression as it is because I literally don't care. But as someone who is evaluating the game and wants the game to grow, this has to change. It's absolutely not good enough. They've already made a small fix, which I found to already make myself enjoy the progression system more, which is good. So the progression system sucks. We already know that. Everyone's talking about it. And then the other con, my only other con, is also a huge pro. The other con is that it just seems like, Josh said bare bones. It just seems like there's so little lists to choose from, different playlists, different things to go into. It's very simplistic. But at the same time, that's a pro for me. I'm really trying to take stock of this moment because I think this moment we're in right now is I'm gonna equivalate this moment to the Halo 5 beta. Because when we were playing the Halo 5 beta back in the day, we had no idea just how much fun we were having during Halo 5 beta and how that moment would probably never be replicated again. Even when Halo 5 came out fully and we had a blast with it, I think almost our peak experience with Halo 5 was playing it in that beta, but they changed a few things, and it was never quite to that level again. And I'm worried that's where we're at now, because for me, and it's too early to say this, so take this with a grain of salt, but for me, I'm in the mindset right now that this is the most fun I've ever had playing objective in Halo, in any Halo game ever in my life, other than Halo 2 LAN parties. Halo 2 LAN parties is different when you're with your buddies in the same room and a bunch of pizza, but overall, this is my favorite ever, because what I'm noticing with how barebone the playlist is that I get on Halo right now and I match up quickly with all these people to play all these different objectives, and I'm realizing how objectives have always been my favorite mode, and I would way rather play that than standard Slayer. And being able to like play a capture the flag and then go to oddball and then go to strongholds and then go back into Slayer, it's just so much fun for me. It's so exciting, because I just felt like in Halo 5 especially, but in Halo in general, it just seems like objectives don't come around enough. It just seems like people are so laser focused in on the Slayer and SWAT. I just love doing objectives. Like I'm excited to get on, like when we get done recording, to go play and just know that I'm gonna get to do oddball, I'm gonna do capture the flag, I'm gonna do strongholds. And the thing is, like, I'm a lot better player than I would usually give myself credit for when I do objectives. When I do objectives, either I'm leading the scoreboard with the things I'm capturing, or, and I know this sounds full of myself, but or what'll happen is you'll see that I haven't made any captures, but the only reason anyone on the team has made captures is because of what I have done. And I've noticed that so many times that it bugs the hell out of me, but it's also cool. Like, I'll be playing, and like, nobody on my team's really going for the flag. They're all just playing Slayer. But here I am, running my ass off, getting the flag, getting it halfway across the map so someone else can score. Or like we'll be doing strongholds, and like half my team is not even trying to capture strongholds. They're just playing Slayer. But then you look at the list, and I have captured a bazillion strongholds. So like, that's where I really excel as a player, because that competitive nature people have, where they're like,
Brian plays the objective.
I don't want to have more deaths.
You want him on your team.
Yeah, I play the objective. So that's a part where I excel. So I'm really enjoying that aspect. So that's a pro and a con. But then to go into the rest of my pros, the game feels amazing to play. I feel like this is the best movement has ever been in Halo, period, number one, because they've got sprint in there, but your shields still recharge when you sprint, but the sprint barely bumps up your speed at all. You still have things like clamber and slide, and then you have the ability to pick up equipment. And then, there's a part of me that really misses like the bubble shield. Like, to me, I'm just like, the game's missing the bubble shield.
I would miss the bubble shield. Yeah.
Like, this game is not complete without the bubble shield. I'm like, why'd you give us that drop shield? Just put the damn bubble shield back in there. But at the same time, if I'm being fair, equipment's done so much better here than it's done in Halo 3, because in Halo 3, not only did all the equipment just kind of drop out of your inventory like unstrategically, half of them were just kind of, people didn't use them too much, or they didn't take them seriously, like the flare and the radar jammer, and even stuff that really did work well, like grav lift and stuff. People would just kind of chuck them out and not take them seriously. And I feel like in Infinite, they're designed in a way that it's more encouraged to actually use them. And
I was gonna say,
with them more.
To go off that real quick, I think they looked at Halo 3 and they said this was a great idea, but it could have been executed better. So that's what we're gonna do. Yeah. We're gonna improve on it. Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the gameplay, the movement, equipment it's all so good. The maps are really good. I think 10 maps at launch is solid. I think I'll actually disagree with Josh on this, but I don't think I think he makes fair points, and I think he could be, objectively right. But for me, the 3 big team battle maps, they're so good and they're so high quality that I'm just like, I can't even get mad about there only being 3, because I'm just like, I don't feel cheated. When I got the Halo 5 big team battle, I felt like you guys just shit out Forge mode.
Hey, I will take 3 of these maps over any of the big team battle forged maps that we got in 5. I hear you.
Give me these 3 maps in perpetuity over 180 forged maps. I don't want your...
I don't even know what that word means.
Ooh, it makes me mad, dude. It makes me mad. I'm like, I love Forge and I support the Forge community, but don't make me play on your aesthetically maps ever. I don't ever want to play on them. I hate it. I hate it so much. So I'm just like, they have knocked these big team battle maps out of the park so well that I'm cool with 3. Like, what is it? Deadlock and Fragmentation and
we're gonna get to those. We're gonna break those down a little bit.
Okay, but those three big team battle maps are all awesome. I love playing on them. and I'm not really sick of them. I think they can last a while. Obviously, I want more in the future, and I feel like by the time this 10-year cycle is over with, we're going to have, a dozen plus. But ultimately, my TLDR is, once again, too early to make any official judgments because we're all caught in the hype and everything.
Yes.
But I can see this, based on the potential I see here, I can see it objectively being the greatest multiplayer in Halo's history.
Nice.
I can see it. It's within reach. It's
Okay.
within reach. Yeah.
I got a lot.
And I'm not talking about the game reach.
No,
I'm talking about within the grasp of being the best.
I love the pun there, the unintentional one.
Yeah.
No, I got a lot to say about this too, but I want to ask you something, Brian. Do you think Infinite's multiplayer is good and people are enjoying it more because it's good or because it's new? I know that the lines can blur there, but a lot of this is always hype. And, sometimes, the progression stuff can maybe wean people off the lack of, it's a bare bones release. I feel like that's that's true. But what do you think? I mean, where do you think the line in the sand is?
The fact of the matter is there is too much hype right now to take you can't take anything either of us are going to say with absolute credibility.
Right.
But pushing that aside, I absolutely think it has everything to do with the game being really good. Yeah. I don't think it has anything to do with it being new. That's my take, because if you look at the history here, you have Halo 5, which changed up the fundamentals of Halo's multiplayer and the abilities and the art direction so much that it really just segmented the fan base. Some people were just like, this series is not for me anymore. Then you go back to Halo 4. Halo 4's multiplayer had an identity crisis like you wouldn't believe. It's like, is it Halo? Is it Call of Duty? You got ordnance drops. You got constant sprinting. It didn't know what it wanted to be. Then you go back to Reach, and Reach knew what it wanted to be, but it wasn't the right direction for Halo. It just wasn't. Like, they set out with design goals and they met them, but it wasn't the right choice. The armor abilities were just not fair, not even. It mixed up things too much, and sprint was there, but it was an ability. It wasn't standard. Just a lot of problems with Reach there. And then, of course, ODST didn't have multiplayer. So you go back, we're looking at it now, and the fact of the matter is we didn't have a competent Halo that facilitated the fun side, that just want to have fun, and the hardcore competitive in its entirety at launch. We haven't had that since Halo 3. Like, this is the first time we have got a Halo that delivers on its true pillars since 2007. 14 years to get to this point. Because, in my opinion, as somebody who loves Halo 5 and is a Halo 5 stan, Halo 5 is a pretty shit game to play socially. Damn! Multiplayer. It's not very good.
And it's punishing if you're not playing with friends.
Yeah.
And same goes for Infinite, to be fair.
And if your goal is to play Big Team Battle, well, then it's really shitty, because Big Team Battle, I don't even, in my opinion, it doesn't even exist in Halo 5. So then you come over to Infinite, and you've got full-on Big Team Battle, social gameplay, and then you also have hyper-competitive gameplay. And it just, yeah, I think it's truly because the game's good, and people have not experienced a Halo that touches on all these things at the same time in 14 years. What's your thoughts, Josh?
No, I was going to say, I disagree a little bit. I mean, I do think Warzone was fun socially, if you played with friends, but I think overall the large consensus... That's fair, I didn't
think about Warzone.
I was going to say, the large consensus, though, I think would agree with you, and I do too, because in Big Team Battle itself, it just wasn't fun with friends the way classic Big Team that we were used to was, so it just didn't have that same feel, because you knew you were playing in a make-believe land rather than actually part of the universe, which is always what makes these maps exciting. But, yeah, to speak on the positives, oh my goodness, this game, launching in beta, launching early, whatever you want to call it, runs buttery smooth. The worst issues I've had is that sometimes the wait times are a little bit long. Quick resume, there's a couple issues I've had with that, trying to go into it. But other than that, the game plays beautifully. I haven't lagged once. It is insane seeing the skill gap, seeing how quickly players are going from just learning some of the new equipment items and learning just how this sandbox is, to seeing people. I was 1v1ing guys who were almost dead, and then they would grapple shot, not at a roof, or not looking up, but instead they looked down and they grapple shot onto a piece of flooring 20 feet away from me and just zigzag. And I'm like, holy shit. And then I die, and I'm like, welcome to Halo Infinite. And it's a really good feeling, because
it feels fair.
Yeah, it feels fair, and I feel like that guy just outsmarted me, and I don't feel punished for that. I feel like, okay, I need to learn from that. I need to take that in usefully. I am loving the map aesthetics. I'm loving the map vibes. Everyone is different and unique. I think these are the best map designs that 343 has put out, period. I think it's so much better than what we got in 5. I think it's so much better than what we got in 4. 4's had, I didn't like their layouts. You know, some of the designs were unique, I thought, but I didn't like their layouts as much. In 5's, it was the complete opposite, where I didn't like the designs, I loved the layouts. In this, it feels like a good marriage of both, and I think I'm really enjoying getting familiar with the call-outs, the specific locations. Even Brian talking about, you know, he's so many things I'm able to take away from what Brian said. Like, for example, you know, I missed the bubble shield, but then you have the drop wall in there, and it's like I haven't had an opportunity yet to utilize the drop wall in something like Strongholds or Oddball, but I can't wait for those moment-to-moment encounters to pop up when I'm trying to protect a friend or myself, you know? And then you have something like picture map like Bazaar, and in Slayer, you know, you're trying to push for the rockets. There's the push for the rockets, and on the opposing side, you have OS. But then on the other hand, if it's like a CTF map, you have this whole dynamic that's different, you know, and it affects the way and changes the way you play. That's what I love about Halo Sandbox when it comes to things like Arena and Objective. But on something like Bazaar, it's crazy fun because, you know, and even then it's like now it's 1st to 5. It's not 1st to 3 anymore, right? So the matches are a bit extended, or they can be at least. And if it's tied, it's first one to score in overtime that wins the match. And that's really cool, you know, but it's like I can remember being on Bazaar with their flag at my base, waiting to return, strafing around anxiously because we got BR starts, we got no motion sensor, so I can't see anything around me. As I'm waiting for my teammate or my teammates to go out and hopefully kill the flag carrier, get it returned so I can rush in there. And feeling that moment-to-moment anticipation is just thrilling. And I do feel that transition slowly carrying over from Halo 5. When I first played the flights, I wasn't exactly sure if I was feeling that. I was playing it by myself, I was getting steamrolled, and I thought, okay, well, it's sweaty, which is making me feel good, but also, it sucks to get my ass kicked this bad. I want to be on the other end of that. So then I get into actually playing with friends. I got to play with Aaron, Joe, and Prey, and our last match we got to play in the flight before they shut the servers down. We went sweaty on Behemoth, and we won, and it felt rewarding as fuck. It was great. It left a good taste in my mouth going into this. And going into it, Brian and I got to play pretty much right away. So what happened, guys, was I got it installed beforehand. As Brian was getting home, I was playing my first couple matches and still talking to Brian. We ended up talking for 5 hours straight, you know. And
should have been a podcast.
It should have been a podcast, a term that should be on the bingo card, but it's not because it's not ever said on the show. But we ended up playing several matches, and it felt incredible. And I have to say, guys, this is where I really got to see Brian's capture the flag objective game modes type kick in. So we load up on Aquarius for the first time, and I tell Brian, I'm like, I think this is my favorite map. I think Aquarius could be the new Guardians, could be the new Lockout. You know, let me know what you think. Walk with your boy. And we end up playing that, and within, like, honestly, 3 minutes, I want to say, that map, and I'm not exaggerating, that match was over because Brian immediately pushes over there, gets the flag about halfway, gets it returned, and then there was like, basically it was between Brian and I. Brian scored like 3 or 4 times, I scored 1 or 2 times, but we were on that because I was watching Brian. Brian was getting the flag out, and here's the thing, guys, what's so cool about Brian as a player with that is because Brian's doing that, that pushes them immediately on defense. That takes anybody away. Like, if anyone on their team is close to our flag, obviously they're going to try to grab it, but most of the time, their panic set in because Brian would get the flag so fast. Brian is like Frodo putting the ring on, and they can't see him, and the Nazgul are looking for him, but they can't find him. Well, I guess the Nazgul would be able to see him, but y'all know what I'm saying anyway. He gets the flag, gets it out of there, and they're tracking after him, and at that point in time, I can kick into my arena skills, and I can just try to get these players, you know, cut them off, help Brian out as best I can. Brian gets the flag returned, and maybe sometimes I see that Brian's in the clear. Bam! I start booking it down the opposite end, and having that back and forth chemistry was incredible. They didn't score once, I don't think. We scored. It was 5-0 within 3 minutes.
I don't feel like, I'm not even saying it's the right way to play at all, but I don't feel like anybody plays like me. When I go for the flag, I just get the flag. Like, if I'm walking up the stairs to the flag and there is an enemy right there, I won't shoot him. I will run right by him and grab the flag, even if he's right there. Like, most people would think, I gotta kill that guy before I grab the flag, but I don't. I just grab the flag and take off. And the funny thing is, you think that's stupid, but so many times it catches the guy off guard because usually they're expecting to hear shooting first. And I grab the flag, and by the time I'm taking off, some other teammate like Josh has come and started killing that guy, and then it's wide open for me to score. It's amazing.
It does create an interesting question in that, because sometimes there's the benefits of killing that type of player, or there's the benefits of leaving him alone. And what it does for you is when you get the flag out there already and they're up there, that just leaves them to panic, because now the flag, maybe you got it down in bottom mid at that point, and we see that it's dropped, and we're swarming to you, and we're not there yet maybe by the time you die, let's say, but now it's already open for grabs. We don't have to run up top and go through that whole process. You just made it easier for us. And on top of it, now their players are like, oh shit, and maybe they were close or halfway to our flag. Now they're turning around because their teammate is probably yelling in their ears, you know, he's a bottom mid, you know, and it just creates all this tension because Brian is so quick to it. It's like the only equivalent I have to relate with is when I would play on Zanzibar in Halo 2. I'd get, if I spawned on the beach in CTF, I would get in a Warthog, I'd get in a Ghost, and I would rush over there. I would go through the beach side, and I would go through the wheel, and I would cut in that right bottom entrance, and I would cut in there, immediately grab the flag, and I usually was at least able to get it around, you know, under rocks, you know, and stuff like that, right by the fan. But it created that sense of tension and all, because it happened so fast. It's the best way I can put it is like by the time these guys are trying to pick up power weapons, Brian already has the flag. And it's just like, holy shit, how do I react to that fast? How did this guy get there that fast? But Brian is shuffling.
I appreciate it, man. There was this, I can't remember which map or which time it was, but there was this one time the match started. I sprinted directly for the flag, grabbed it, sprinted directly back, and I think the first flag was scored. We hadn't even played in the match 30 seconds.
We scored super fast on that Aquarius map. I remember that.
And it was
incredible.
Like, and I could just feel the other team being like, what the shit? We just started.
That, honestly, Brian, was my Halo Infinite moment. That's where I was like, okay, this is good. Like, that's where I really felt like settled into it. And it was great to get that right away. I played a couple matches before Brian, and I was on a winning streak. The teams I was on, we hadn't lost. But nevertheless, that's where I got to play with a teammate, and Brian and I fell into that sync of communication. But even then, it didn't need to be on the level that we had in Halo 5 because it just worked. I don't know how to explain it. I'm not saying that necessarily Infinite's sandbox is better. I'm just saying that we just fell into a groove early on, and I don't think they could really catch up to speed with us. We were moving so fast and so fluid, so fast, so furious.
I'm so impressed that it's managed to, like, if I go back to Halo 4, it felt like the multiplayer didn't know what it wanted to be ever. Like, it didn't know, like, it certainly wasn't super competitive, like sweaty.
No.
But like it also didn't really satisfy just the fun crowd either, the crowd that just wants to play Halo for fun, because it had so many other things like from different games like Call of Duty in it, you know. But then you get to Halo 5 and it was like they heard, like 343 heard all the cries of the competitive nature being gone. So Halo 5 like razored in on the competitive nature so much that it almost left the fun part out, the social part.
Right.
So then to see them with Infinite, they managed to, it's almost like they had like a potion, and like when they had the Halo 4 potion, it was all screwed up. And then the Halo 5 potion, they're like, half the potion was good, like they got the competitive down. To see them be able to keep that potion, the half competitive part, they were able to keep that there, and then go over to Infinite, and then infuse the good social stuff from way back in Halo 3 into it, and have this perfect mixture. Like, it feels like Halo Infinite has that even mixture of social and competitive that you really got in the Halo 2 and 3 days, and it's just amazing. Like, just playing
it does feel really good. And you know what, to go off that, I will say, it's almost going to sound like a complaint, but I don't think so. I think this multiplayer is so much fun. It does a better job, I think, of balancing some sweatiness that I think Halo 5 did. Like, 5 didn't balance that as much. It was very one-sided. You know, you were either sweaty or you got your ass beat. In Infinite's, it is very sweaty still, but it does have a sense of, like, it has those Halo 3 vibes almost, to where it needs a social playlist ASAP. I want a social playlist so bad, because that way I can still play with friends, not have to take it seriously, but just enjoy the game. Because bottom line, it's a ton of fun to play. Map navigation is great. I feel rewarded. I can already tell the more I get familiar with these maps and the intricacies. I mean, there's that little crawl space in the back of Rocket Spawn in Bazaar. That's just so cool to know that, you know, and not everyone is, people are still figuring out where stuff goes. Then you got influencers like Mint Blitz, who's pulling off crazy stunts and tricks, and it's just great to see, and people are learning callouts. It's just a really exciting time for Halo fans to get to experience this stuff and indulge in it. But, I mean, a Halo multiplayer is only as good as the maps I get to roam around in, and if they make me feel like I'm living in the world of Halo, and I feel that. I don't know necessarily how quite yet in a way, which is weird because I haven't played the campaign, so I don't get to see that kind of marriage. But at the same time, it's great to be on maps like Bazaar and see the Mombasa aesthetics, to play on streets and have that different side of it that reminds me of Halo 5, yet with a Halo 2 twist on it at the same time. I almost get turf vibes at the same time in a way, despite the neon lighting. It's great to see a lot of amalgamations coming into these maps and the designs, the weapon pickups. Something I didn't realize. Okay, so I played, this is something I want to talk about before we go into the maps. So I played this morning. As of this recording, I played this morning with friend of the show, Justin and Jeff. And this was a great experience, dude, because Justin hit me up and he was like, do you want to play? And I was like, I'll probably play for 2 hours. I ended up playing for 3. And I was like, Jeff, by any chance, do you want to get on? Jeff has an OG Xbox One, big old thick one, I'm talking, OG one. And he downloads it and gets on. And we won most of our matches. And I'll tell you right away, it literally went, like, we played Strongholds on Livewire. It was like, go B, got one guy B, it was one shot at C. And it constantly was going into that Halo 5 talk, and I could feel it coming back, and I thought, thank God, this is what I wanted to come to carry over from Halo 5. I miss Thrust as a default option instead of a pickup, but overall, this is what I wanted to come over, and there was
I've noticed that thrust doesn't mean much to me when it's not standard.
No, and I've used it a couple times.
Like, I pick it up and I'm like, this is really nothing to me.
Yeah, it's a bit of a bummer. I still enjoy it, but it's diminishing returns.
It's not at the
same time. It's not the same.
Because if you can't have it there coming in clutch at all moments to help you prepare for the battle, then... But I think it's smart that it's not there probably for the game. But
right.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, so we were playing on... We started out a big team battle. It was like Jeff had only played one arena match prior to us getting on, so I threw some big team. We all got our asses beat. We played this mode, I can't think of what it's called. I'll know it by the time this episode goes up. But basically, you have to collect these seeds, and you have to go plant them in the base.
I hate that mode.
Don't like that mode so far?
I didn't find it fun at all.
I didn't like it.
Probably just me.
But
also, dude, before I forget, does the Pulse Carbine suck balls, or is that just me? Like, does it actually suck?
Balls, dude. Hey, big, hairy, sweaty balls. I'm telling you, that shit sucks ass, and not the good kind.
I mean, like...
This is swamp sweaty, fuck, dipped in hot dog water. Oh, Szechuan sauce. It's so atrocious. I can't believe Halo 5 had... Go ahead, Brian. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
I'm not even trying to be negative. I'm just like, I'm asking legitimately, and I'm also asking to you, the listener, like, does that weapon objectively suck?
Right.
Like, I feel like it's a pointless existence in the game. Like, somebody please send me a video link proving that how it's God tier. But it seems like garbage. I'll never use it.
There's got to be... I'm sure someone out there has already found it, and if not, they probably will soon. But I'm sure there's some benefit to having that weapon against either a person or a vehicle in some situation. But goddamn,
it's a benefit to the other team that you picked it up.
Exactly. That's good. That's good. I like that. That's really good because it's just atrocious. Because honestly, every weapon in Halo 5, I'm sorry, in Infinite that I picked up so far, actually feels really good, and I feel great with it. The Mangler is almost like a 3-shot kill. It's like this blend of.
Great. Can I say something real quick? I'm sorry. I'm so interrupting you,
it's
Josh.
great. I love this right now.
When I played Halo 4, I thought the Storm Rifle was a pile of ass and not the good kind. I thought Halo 4's... You remember the Storm Rifle, Josh?
I do remember the Storm Rifle.
Like, it was in 5 also, which it wasn't great there either, but it was just... I thought it was just a terrible design, name, gameplay. I hated the Storm Rifle in Halo 4. When I play Halo Infinite, I'm like, give me the Storm Rifle over the Pulse Carbine any day. Like, I enjoyed using the Storm Rifle 2 or 3 times as much as the Pulse Carbine. I don't see the appeal at all in that weapon. At all.
If they ever try, deadass, if they ever throw up Team Fiesta and I spawn with that fucking Storm Rifle, if I can drop, I'll just throw myself off the cliff. If not, just completely drop it and run around with my fists trying to punch people. There's a better chance
your body will hit a player and kill them than you getting a kill with the Pulse Carbine.
Yes. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's so atrocious. I cannot stand it. I hope they do something to fix it because honestly, I'm a little different. I felt like in Halo 5, I felt like every weapon had a proper use, and I honestly felt like I was never at a disadvantage. They nailed that balance to me. But in Halo Infinite...
It feels bad to shoot even.
Dude, it feels bad to carry. It doesn't even feel good. It feels bad to look at.
It feels bad to look at.
Yeah, right. It feels... Man,
I see it. No, dude. Yeah, I guarantee you're gonna say you've done the same thing. But how many times have you ran up the stairs, turned the corner to look at a rack, and you see the pulsed carbine, and your face makes this thing like you just smelled shit for the first time.
Yeah.
And you just walk on by it.
It's
like, nope.
It's a wet fart. It's a wet fart that you're smelling. You walk it. It's like
I'm like, I have 2 weapons.
You
we're
know
both
what?
out of ammo. I see the
like
pulsed carbine. I guess I'm going melee.
Walking up there to, like you described, is like walking into the restroom at work, and you just gotta go, maybe real quick, maybe for a real long. But anyway, it's pungent and it smells, and you go, well, I'm going somewhere else, and I'm gonna go find another restroom. Because this ain't it, dog. This ain't it.
If we see the infinite credits and one person has complete sole credit for the pulse carbine, we're going to have to issue an apology.
I know. But no, the Mangler, man, going back to that feels great. It feels like a mixture between like the Mauler and the Halo Combat Evolved pistol, just because, like, honestly, I've used that a lot on live fire because you have it spawn right there in mid, and it's super easy to kill people with it. Like, I'm having a bit of trouble in the moment closing on the kills with it, but I can get the 2 shots to where I can just
the third shot
press
you
Y.
really get.
Yeah, it's the third. Like, I switch out for my battle rifle, I swap it, boom, get them. Something I want to talk about though, Brian. How do you feel about BR starts in no motion sensor?
Okay, let me preface by saying I'm not the competitive guy. I'm not the esports guy, so I don't really think anyone should listen to my opinion. But I kind of don't like it. I kind of, what's keeping me out of ranked is, you know, I'm over. I wish we could move on past the BR. Like, when Halo 2 came out, the battle rifle was some of the coolest shit ever. But, you know, we're 17 years on from Halo 2. Let's do something different. I would have preferred AR starts. Honestly, a lot of the reason I'm playing quick play is so I can start with an AR. I love the BR, but I don't want to use it all the time. Now, the no radar, I can live with that, but nah, man, I actually miss when Halo 5, I used that pistol like crazy, to be honest with you. I miss that.
Yes. Yeah, and the pistols, I think that's going to go down probably as one of my favorite weapons ever in all of Halo. I love that one so much at this point. I miss it.
I think the Halo 5 pistol is probably the best pistol in Halo, only because Halo 1's pistol is purposely unbalanced.
OP, yeah,
you know
yeah.
I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Halo 1 pistol's god tier, but like it's wrong, you know?
Yeah. But no. I'm with you on that, dude. I would like to see when they can get more playlists out to still have ranked matches that aren't BR starts, that are having motion sensor, because I love those options in there. That's what I'm used to. I don't like that this is kind of the de facto start, because it feels like it's being shoved down my throat. However, you know, it is cool in one sense because it is starting everyone out on an even playing field. No one's having motion sensors, so you don't have the skill gap of like who's better at peripheral vision. You also don't have the skill gap of like, oh, I have an AR, but this other person has, you know, a battle rifle that they picked up. You know, everyone's starting with battle rifles, so you still feel like you have an advantage. You don't feel like you're at a disadvantage per se. So because even if another player has like the rockets, you still feel like you can take them down potentially with the battle rifle as opposed to something else. However, I gotta say, from a firing standpoint, from a DPS standpoint, I think this could be one of my favorite assault rifles ever. I feel genuinely good when I have that. There have been a couple times when I was playing on Bizarre CTF where I did pick up an AR, and I was swapping it out in tight corridors using that over the battle rifle because I could kill them faster and because the spread was a little bit bigger.
Yeah, please don't nerf the AR.
Yeah, I know I've seen people be a bit divisive on that. People love it, people don't. I really don't want them to change it. Honestly, that's something I would not touch. Let the battle rifle
Halo game with a good AR. Come on.
Yeah, why can't an AR feel powerful? It's Chief had it on the cover of CE. It should feel powerful, you know? But it feels great to play. I honestly don't have that many cons. It's just the cons are more so it's a bare bones release, but the core gameplay, what an experience, dude, and how great it feels. There's seeing people zip up and around is amazing. There's a night map in Big Team Battle. It's just so cool to see night levels on Halo and multiplayer. I mean, I love that type of stuff. I don't know. Great overall experience, man. Just I'm having a blast playing it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, you know, I think it's kind of, I'm kind of echoing the statement everyone else is saying, like, do we have any problems? Yeah, some, but the problems are like the minimal things that can more easily be fixed. Like in prior Halos, they were major fundamental issues. Like when you played Halo 4 multiplayer, you couldn't just be like, oh, this game shouldn't have been designed around unlimited sprint and ordnance and loadouts and
Right.
stuff, because that was just fundamentally the game they built. So everything they built here in Infinite's just fire right off the bat.